Good evening. Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. We'd like to get started in the next few minutes. If you could just get your drinks, your pizza, whatever you'd like, and find a seat, please.
Hi, everybody. Hello. All right, so I have the thanks. I have the privilege of introducing Paul Kirk. Paul Kirk is Center for Music faculty, and specifically he teaches and plays old-time music, pre-war old-time fiddle and string music. Paul's a teacher. He came back to us after 30 years, so he taught previously at the Music Settlement 30 years ago, and then more recently, about a year and a half ago, came back that he wanted to get involved again, specifically to teach old-timey music, to broaden the community of old-timey music, and to bring it to the settlement. So this past spring, for the first time in our 112-year history, we had old-timey fiddlers on a music settlement recital, which is super cool. So I won't stand in the way of you and fiddle playing, so I'm going to hand it over to Paul Kirk. He's going to play some old-time tunes and tell you what he's playing, and then thus kick off our All Org meeting.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so yes, I'm going to play a selection of old-time fiddle tunes, and I decided to do some cross-tuning, some unusual tunings. There's a lot of unusual tunings in old-time fiddle. So right now, this is my tuning. How often do you tune that way, huh? We actually call this calico tuning. There's a name for this tuning. It's called calico tuning, and just the intervals are different. Of course, we're musicians in the room, I'll mention that. So we have a perfect fifth here, and then a perfect fourth, and then we have a major third. So that's what gives it that nice sound like that. So the first tune I'm going to play is called Sand Lake. Can you hear that? Hear it okay? All right.
you.
Thank you. So first, primarily this music is dance music. It was meant to be dance music. Not so much sitting down and listening to music, maybe background music, but it could serve that purpose as well. The tunes are very repetitive, obviously, but dance music is. This next tune I'm going to play is called Lost Indian. Thank you, thank you. Maybe like one match, is that okay? Or a couple? Yeah. Yes, all right. So that last tune was from Oklahoma, and I mentioned that because I was in Oklahoma last month for a research trip working on a book on the Oklahoma fiddlers from the 1930s era, and got a lot of good research done while I was there. And that will be a published book once that's done, but got to write it yet, so still going through lots and lots of documents. Yeah, so this last tune is another tune from Oklahoma, and it's called Jenny Nettles.
we have a birthday. Happy birthday to Pete. Pete, where's Pete? All right, happy birthday. Hey, well, let's play it. So, I'm cross-tuned, so forgive me, everybody, if it's a little low to sing, but here we go.
Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you, Paul. And good evening. Thank you for being with us tonight. As you know, we've got a lot of people in the room tonight. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you, Renee. And we've got folks on live stream as well on YouTube. And I believe this is being recorded, so for those who aren't here, you'll be able to see the whole thing later on. I'd like to welcome our board chair, Dr. Christopher Brandt. Chris has served on the Music Settlement Board since June of 2014, and he is the chair of the Department of Surgery of the Metro Health System and the Richard B. Fradian, MD, Professor of Surgery at Case Western Reserve University. We are enormously blessed and grateful for his stellar leadership over the last several years and the generous support from him and his wife, Dr. Beth Sursig. Dr. Brandt's impressive bio is included in the slide deck that you all received earlier in advance of this meeting. Welcome, Dr. Brandt.
Thank you, Jerry. I will be very, very brief. My job is on behalf of the board, many of which are sitting at the bar for some reason. But there are many of the board members here, so hopefully you'll get to see them. And it's really to thank all of you for what you do for the settlement, but really what you do for the people you interact with on a day-to-day basis. Maybe it's not so obvious on a day-to-day what impact you have on people's, but it's obvious to us on the board. And this is why we do what we do to support the settlement. So our focus is completely on supporting Jerry and her team to help all of you have the resources that you need to accomplish what you're here to accomplish for the people that you work with. So thank you very much. We will be particularly focused on several things that you'll hear more specifics about from Jerry, but we have an opportunity to get out from the pandemic phase and increase our outreach to the community. So we want to help you with that. And part of the resources that I mentioned was space, and we know that we're running into some issues regarding space. So we will be working closely with Jerry and the team to look at our options and see how we can take the next big step, if you will, for the settlement and get us in continuing improvement for our future. So again, thank you all for what you do, and I look forward to greeting the new people on the team, that many of which are here tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, we were really fortunate to have a doctor, right, lead our board during a pandemic, but everybody else here too. We just have a fabulous board, which I'll say some more words about later, but they really helped us get through these last challenging years, especially Dr. Brandt. Okay, so now I'd like to introduce our Director of HR. There she is. I didn't see her earlier, Sherry Komarniski. Sherry started in March with us, and I'd like to share a couple of fun facts about Sherry, which I've just learned. And they're not exactly interview questions that you get on an interview. So Sherry enjoys reading about high-profile criminal cases, and she loves reading good murder mysteries. She's also a collector, this is really cool, of street hot rods. Sherry owns a 34 Chevy Coupe and a 36 Ford, and she's looking to buy a 1969 GTO. Welcome, Sherry. she's going to share. Sherry's going to share some of what she's been working on, like in the last 90 days or so. We've really put her to the test, and some initiatives that we can look forward to as well. She's really, really experienced, comes to us from corporate America, a lot of impressive corporations, and she's in the trenches with us and doing an excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. And just a little summary about me in my love of high-profile criminal cases is when I went to college, I wanted to be an FBI agent, and I wanted to study criminology and forensic science. So that's what I started out doing. And then about my sophomore, junior year, I said, this is going to be pretty intense if I work for the FBI, and how intense they go into your background, and I wouldn't know where I would live. But I knew I wanted to do something that had to deal with people. So I kind of switched over and said, you know, maybe human resources might be a little bit better. So that's how I came into the world of loving high-profile murders and mysteries. So since I've been on board, which has been about 5 months, I've just jumped into the wonderful fire of doing everything. Recruiting, some of the people I'm going to introduce to you today, I've hired on or recruited on. So there's that, and the other things I've been involved with is just doing a lot of observing, meeting employees, and my goal is to really do a deep dive on the employee experience and the employee life cycle at TMS, which means looking at different ways to attract talent and hire on talent and retain talent and develop talent, because that's the key. When you come on board, we want to keep you, we want to give you those tools to help you stay on. So those are some of the things I'm looking into, along with performance management, and also learning about why employees do leave and what we can do better, you know, after we find out why employees leave. So that's a lot of things. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention is to thank you employees for your patience during open enrollment. So that was a big fire, that was a challenge for everybody. So I want to thank you for that. So now it's time to introduce our new hires. So if you're here, if you could stand up and wave. So first hire is Sylvia Belton. Is Sylvia here? No, Sylvia is with Building and Grounds, and she came on a temporary basis, and we hired her on full time. She's been wonderful. So something interesting about Sylvia is her nickname is Pumpkin, but I don't know if we can call her that while she's at work. We better ask Rich. And she went to school for welding. So that's a talent right there. Next, we have Savannah Butcher. She's from the Center for Music. Is Savannah here? Hi, Savannah. So, interesting thing about Savannah is she marched in the Macy's Day Parade. And the other interesting thing about Savannah is she has broken her left arm 3 times. So can you still use it? Pretty good? Oh, okay. Well, welcome, Savannah. Next, oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, I'm taller. Next person is Dara Elliott. Dara! Dara's at the Center for Early Childhood Education. And Dara, if you can come up, Dara break dances. So, Dara loves coffee, her 3 sons, and her 2 pet birds. Next is Beverly Gard. Is Beverly here? Hi, Beverly, stand up. Beverly's in administration. And interesting about Beverly is she has been to 26 states and lived in 6 of them. So her talent is, you know, we should have a talent show. Come on, do your talent. So Beverly can say the alphabet backwards. Yeah, how fast? Thank you, Beverly. Oh. How fast can you do it? Okay. All right. That's great. Next is Grace Gasper. Is Grace here? Okay, Grace is in the Center for Early Childhood, and she was a topperette and performed at game halftimes. So her favorite spot for vacationing is the Outer Banks. Outer Banks, yeah. Next is Pamela Gibson, who works here at the BOP STOP. Not here? Okay. During the day, Pam's a guidance counselor at Glenville High School in Cleveland, and she's an avid concert goer. Her recent shows that she attended was LL Cool J and Erykah Badu. Next is Brian Kennard. Hey, Brian, from the BOP STOP. Brian is an award-winning composer and jazz flutist. He has raced in the Texas Water Safari twice, which is a 260-mile canoe race that started in Central Texas. So, very impressive. Next is Jennifer LaPerche. Is Jennifer here? Okay, Jennifer is also at the Center for Early Childhood. She's a wizard at organizing. I need to call her. She also studied in Australia. Next is Katie Milsinovic. Hi, Katie, in administration. So, interesting thing about Katie, she moved to Cleveland at the end of May in 2014 and met her husband 3 weeks later. So when was the wedding after that? All right. She lives out in Copley, near me. Her neighbors have embraced the farm life, and on a daily basis, she can hear dogs barking, geese honking, ducks quacking, chickens clucking, roosters crowing, pigs oinking, and even peacocks squawking. So I know that, I know those sounds because I have the same. There's a farm down the road from me. Next is Rachel Plinovic. Is Rachel here? Okay. She's at the Center for Music Therapy. And Rachel was once on a billboard. Her picture was used for an ad when she was a baby. So, that was nice. She also plays the piano at her church using a MIDI keyboard and music software to create unique synth, organ, and piano sounds through her computer. So very talented there. Max Schlenk, Center for Music. Is Max here? Max is an alumnus of the jazz at the Music Settlement and the Berkeley 5-week Aspire program. He graduated from Oberlin College of Conservatory Music. Next is Ran Sayo, Center for Music. Is Ran here? Okay. So the best revenge to her brother for telling her that Dumbledore dies when she was about to start reading Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince was telling him about Iron Man dying while he was waiting to watch Avengers Endgame in the theater. So, had to get each other back. She loves to cook, bake, so much that she thought about quitting music school to go to a culinary school, and she has a dream of opening up a restaurant or a bakery cafe. So I don't see why she can do double duty and maybe have a bakery at the Music Settlement. So next is Joseph Slasarski. Is Joseph here? He's at the Center for Music. Joe was the captain of the Nautical Queen for 4 years. So that's interesting. He has ridden his bicycle from Lakewood to Puddin Bay before. So great cyclist. Next is Marla Spieth. Marla here. Marla's at the Center for Early Childhood. So her favorite hobby is quilting. She has 4 kids and a cat named Buddy. Next is Darren Thompson. Hi, Darren. Darren is a graduate of Youngstown State University with a degree in jazz trumpet performance. He has also been studying the martial art Kung Tao since he was 4 and is a black belt, so don't mess with Darren. Next is Lauren Toplitz. Is Lauren here? Lauren is at the Center for Music, and before getting into the trumpet, Lauren did a lot of musical theater, TV, and radio work. At the age of 14, he won first place in a major tri-state dance competition, tapping to Anything Goes. Could have him up here on stage doing that for us. It's great. Next is Bridget Yurkison. Bridget's at the bar back there, the BOP STOP. Last but not least, Bridget is a creative mixologist. I'm going to try something later, Bridget. She's a talented singer, songwriter, and plays with the rock duo, the Super Babes. They're out of Youngstown. Follow her at Bad B Mixology at the Super Babes. And she used to work as a nanny. So that is it for our new hires so far. And I'm going to turn it back over to Jerry. Thank you.
Okay, well, that was fun. Okay, this is too tall. All right, Sherry. Thank you. I am really excited with all these talented people with all these wonderful histories here. All right, so next we are going to talk about, and this is more brief than all the new people we have here, the staff anniversaries. And if you're here, please stand. It is my pleasure to recognize the members of our staff and faculty who celebrated milestone work anniversaries in fiscal year 23. So these are the folks that had an anniversary from July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. And the 5-year anniversaries: Affy Odelia Scruggs, Nikki Claverie, Stephen Haluska. I saw Stephen. All right. Joe Miller, Dawn Ray Novick, saw Dawn, Corey Roberts, Paula Weitzer, and Marcia Saketa. Yeah. Okay. Wow, a lot of folks in EC. Okay. 10-year anniversaries: Melanie Emig, Pam Mabin, Ethan Shields, and Jim Wall. And finally, 45 years. Our historian and a woman who has held many, many roles over her tenure at the Music Settlement, including my role, Linda Allen. Where are you? Where is she? There she is. Congratulations to our amazing, dedicated staff and faculty. We're grateful for your commitment to our community and all the work that you do. Thank you. Okay, and now on to the State of the School remarks. We're now going to move into the presentation portion of our meeting, where you'll hear from me and other members of our leadership team about important updates, highlights from the past year, and our goals for the new fiscal year. Welcome and thank you to those here, all of you that came to the BOP STOP tonight, and all of you on live streaming. This event is a special opportunity for each of us to celebrate our achievements and talk about our vision for the future. As we begin our new school year, you all belong to the Music Settlement community. You are an impressive group with many accomplishments. You're here because of your passion for our mission and your work, your potential, and the impact that you make on our mission delivery internally and in our community. What do we bring to you? What do you bring with you? You bring your talents, your experiences, your perspectives, your dreams as you engage with your colleagues, clients, students, and customers. TMS needs you. What will be your greatest contributions this year? And what will we do together? These are the questions I would like you to explore, and none of us has all the answers, but we can work together to make this an outstanding year for our students, clients, families, and the communities we serve. I believe in you. I believe in all of us, and I want you to show your TMS spirit wherever you are in the world and throughout the year. With your help and support, some of our many accomplishments during the last fiscal year include our IDEA committee. So this is our diversity committee, inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. And we have grown from 11 to 15 members. That's board members, faculty, and staff. And one of our faculty members, Christopher Jenkins, has just published a book titled Assimilation versus Integration in Music Education, Leading Change Toward Greater Equity. And if you haven't seen that, I know that Katie's ordered a copy for advancement, and Matt has also ordered a copy for the Center for Music. So if you're interested, they have copies. And we're going to do a little bit of a celebration of Chris, because that's a huge accomplishment. Our board, faculty, and staff have begun planning the 1909 Grease House redevelopment for expanded programming, innovation, and job skilling. BOP STOP Live is now on 38 radio programs nationally and internationally. Go, Brian. Wow. And BOP STOP was awarded the Downbeat Magazine's recognition of great jazz venue in 23. We were among their list of 106 international venues. We added 2 new talented board members and are about to add 2 more at our September 18th meeting. The 4 of them came to us with interest to serve on the Music Settlement Board, and we will now have 32 board members this year. And as Daryl Deckard told me a couple weeks ago, this is the most outstanding board that he has served on. It's just such a collaborative group of talented, engaged, and people with different perspectives, and they are just awesome. So grateful to see all your faces out there. We have a new strategic plan for 23 to 25 with goals that align with our updated mission and vision. So the plan focuses on longevity, which is financial sustainability, human capital and board engagement, infrastructure, brand confidence, which is our marketing and brand awareness, and community engagement, and innovation and education. And we're going to make sure that a plan summary, Sydney's working on this, will be available to you on our website. And then we reignited with Sydney and Matt's Center our popular community outreach music programming called Sips and Strings. That is a really sought-after program, and it gets us out in the community and gives visibility to our talented faculty. And they have performed this year in 8 organizations throughout the community. And we had many more accomplishments, which you can review. I just hope you take a few minutes. Kathy had sent to all of your emails a slide deck just telling you some of the more things that we've accomplished this year. It was pretty overwhelming considering it was the year that we came out of COVID. So thank you. So just a quick peek preview about what's coming up next. More employee town halls, which Sherry and the leadership will conduct. We had a couple successful ones last year. HR programs for professional development and coaching, continued planning for the redevelopment of Grease House, and the expanded programs and services that we're going to be able to provide there in the next decades. Our 1909 Grease House, which is, most of you know, I don't know if the new people know, is located on our UCI campus, and that's going to involve a new home for music education and performance, where we're going to elevate the state-of-the-art teaching, technology, Suzuki, creative aging, and community engagement. And our marketing and branding themes for the Center for Music are going to revolve around the theme of house and all things music. So each year, those of you that have heard me do this for the last 7 years know that I like to come up with a theme for the new fiscal year. And given the Grease House branding, and my theme for this fiscal year combines our revised mission and our capital campaign project. So it translates for me into welcome to our settlement home, where we inspire and welcome all to engage in learning, creativity, celebrating, and healing. Our settlement home is where we experience, and then it's the various things we do: jazz performances, playing in the youth pops orchestra, learning in early childhood, healing through music therapy, and so forth. And then CFM will use the messaging all things music for our capital campaign, and that will also have many variations, such as all things Suzuki, all things rock and pop, all things jams, and so forth. You get it. So we're going to have fun putting that branding out there and just making our campaign very visible. We intend to keep growing our collaboration with other partner organizations, Music Therapy, the Center of Music, Early Childhood, all of us. And especially, Katie and I will be fronting again greater participation in the arts and the greater arts and culture community. In fact, for our annual meeting on September 18th, our keynote speaker is Jeremy Johnson. He was a former scholarship student at the Music Settlement. He is now the CEO of Assembly for the Arts, and that's one of the leading advocacy organizations in the city now for all arts. And he's really excited to come and talk, and we'd like to think that his foundation at the Music Settlement got him his start in this field. And importantly, my vision and hope for our culture at the settlement is one in which you fully show up, you bring your whole selves, including your wide open whole hearts, so that we can innovate, collaborate, and solve the inevitable challenges, and importantly, serve the people in organizations. I strive for a culture in which we trust each other, we feel safe, and we feel seen, heard, and respected. We're a people-first culture, and we have the capacity to do and to continue to do amazing work together. And I just have to interject, as I'm out and about in the community much more this year, the one thing that really I'm so strikingly aware is the high regard for our programs and services and faculty and staff that I continually hear over and over, no matter where I go. Our reputation is absolutely stellar, and I just hope that you also take pride in this. I want to thank our board of directors. I know Dr. Brandt had to leave, probably had surgery to do. But their oversight, please note, this just keeps us aligned with our mission. I mean, they give us, their continued guidance helps us reach our goals, overcome our challenges, and it really does take a village. I mean, I think it takes a whole state to successfully operate a nonprofit organization, and especially one that's as complex as ours with 4 different service lines. Our board is very diverse in all ways, and they give us the benefit of all kinds of different perspectives, experiences, and skills in the boardroom, and they make themselves available whenever any of us call upon them for guidance and support, and they are over the top generous with their time, talent, and treasure. I hope this new year brings you much joy and personal fulfillment. Thank you. And I'm now pleased to turn things over to our other presenters this evening, my wonderful senior staff, and I'll begin with Matt Charbonneau, Chair for the Center of Music. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jerry. That's a tough act to follow, so I'll be brief. And there's a lot of new faces here, new to the organization and at home watching on the live stream. So I'm Matt Charbonneau. I'm the chair of the Center for Music. I'm going into my 7th year with the Music Settlement. And just as overview for those that may not be totally familiar with the Center for Music and what we do, I just wanted to touch on some highlights of what we do and then highlights going forward into this coming fiscal year, this coming program year. So we're the arm of the organization that does music education, so everything you think of with music education and instruction and group and private instruction. And we go back to 1912 with the founding of the organization, so we're the oldest. The center has, at this date, about 70 or more faculty members in the Center for Music, all doing myriad different programs and lessons and ensembles and outreach activities. And we have 5 full-time administrative staff. So as far as what we do, day in, day out, we operate in about 4 different types of buckets, if you will. The first and the biggest is the private lesson program, and this, also including the Suzuki department and private lessons in that department. We offer private lessons to students age 4 and up and have no upper age limit. I mean, truly there are 80-somethings and octogenarians and people well into their mid to late 80s taking lessons at the Music Settlement. What's the term we heard recently? Birth to death? Yeah, so I heard that term in a meeting recently at a nonprofit meeting, and we truly are birth till end of life as far as music lessons are concerned. No upper age limit, all ages, all abilities, everybody's welcome regardless of background, being able to afford lessons, skill level, anything of that matter. We offer lessons in almost any genre of music, almost every instrument. Recent highlights including adding Suzuki harp to our Suzuki department with Stephen Haluska. So that's new for us this year. It's already taken off. He's been here for a number of years doing traditional harp and harp ensemble, but it's new to us to offer Suzuki harp, which is a great new offering. And then new to the settlement is Old Time Fiddle, which you heard from Paul Kirk earlier. And he brought old-timey traditional fiddling to the music settlement. So we have over 550 students in the private study program, including Suzuki department. Our second big bucket is the group and ensemble programming, including jazz at the music settlement, adult orchestra, settlement singers, flute ensembles, rock and pop academy, chamber music, Cleveland Pops, old time jams, and the list goes on and on. These are instructional small group classes and then performance-based ensembles and bands and orchestras and things of that nature. There's over 250 students in the group and ensemble experiences at the music settlement. Third is our outreach programming. In the last 4 or 5 years, we've really, even with COVID, we've really ramped up our outreach performances, or programming rather, where we're out with partners in community, public and private schools, delivering arts-based enrichment during in-school time and during out-of-school time too. And our job there is to support the work that's already being done in the building by excellent music teachers in the building. And our job is to bring enrichment programs in, whether it's beat making, beginning string instruction, Dalcroze Eurythmics, guitar club, voice groups, jazz and contemporary music, and much, much more. So last year we had about 14 partnerships or 14 contracts serving hundreds and hundreds of school children, mostly in Cleveland schools, with our enrichment programs, and all these are at no cost to the students. Fourth is our community outreach, where we go out and concertize, and faculty and special guests present concerts throughout the community, at churches, synagogues, rec centers, libraries, galleries, museums, and more. We do this throughout the entire year. Christopher Jenkins came on board in a special role last year where he's curating a lot of these concerts, and he's gotten us in with other faculty to perform at Cleveland Museum of Art, different libraries, some Unitarian churches, and he's done a lot really to get us out there into the community, performing and doing some really good work with our faculty too. Going forward, new initiatives and opportunities for growth. We have a number of areas where we can grow and expand in the near future, in particular with the creative aging segment, and that's just meaning anybody that's 55 or 60 plus who are still interested in music experiences, and this is a rapidly growing demographic in our area especially. So many people are set to move from working to retirement age in our area, and there's gonna be, millions of people 65 plus in the Cuyahoga County and Northeast Ohio area in the next several years. So we've got some really warm leads as far as getting funding to actually establish a creative aging department. We already do serve that community with adult orchestra, the settlement singers, musical mix and mingle, and more. And our idea is to really capitalize on it and bring opportunities to more and more people 55, 60 plus who are still interested in making music. And then through some recent family foundations, we've gotten really generous gifts, and we're able to support programs like Chamber Music Intensive with the Cavani Chamber String Quartet. Our Jazz with the Music Settlement program got a grant this year to help its operating, and also piloting a new after-school guitar club on University Circle, this campus. And there's also a grant from the Lakewood Presbyterian Church, which supports a lot of important traditional black music making, and Chris Jenkins is gonna use that fund to go out and do educational performances too with that special fund that's coming from Lakewood Presbyterian Church. So that's it for me. If you have any questions, let me know, please. And I'm gonna turn it over to Karen. Oh, I'm sorry, anybody Center for Music, raise your hand just for recognition. ECS, raise your hand. Okay. If you're online at home, raise your hand. And I'm gonna hand it over to Karen Heitlinger, chair for my contemporary over in the Center for Early Childhood. Here's Karen Heitlinger.
Hi, I'm Karen Heitlinger. You don't have to spell it, you just have to say it. The kids can, so I know you can. So early childhood, the second sibling at the Music Settlement, we were opened in 1955. And you may be wondering why. Why early childhood at a music settlement? How does that work? It's because the instructors needed something to do with their children while they taught. So 68 years later, we have 2 campuses, Ohio City and University Circle. We have 150 students on an annual basis. We have 35 faculty, staff, and specialists, some of which are over here, who I will recognize now. All right, we don't teach music. We play, we explore, we engage, we create, we problem solve, and we do hard things. and we do it all, and we try again the next day. So that's early childhood. We are child-centered. We are creative arts focused. We are social emotional learning. Yes, we have accreditations on the state, on the county, on the municipal level. They afford us over $300,000 in tuition support for families and students on an annual basis, and some program dollars as well to do what we do so well. Our dedicated faculty and staff has an average tenure of 7 years, which is better than we can say for the Browns. So I'm pretty proud of that. And it's true, but also considering the dearth of teachers, the fact that we have the dedicated and the talented and the patient and the creative as part of our institution is tremendous. It is something I'm grateful for every day. I began as a teacher at the Music Settlement. I continue to be a teacher, sometimes in the classroom, sometimes in the office, but it's always part of what we do every day to raise good people. When I'm out in the community and people say, "Oh, where do you work?" and I say, "Oh, the Music Settlement," and their first question is, "Great, what do you play?" And I say, "I play with children." And they're like, "No, seriously, what do you do?" And I was like, "Yeah, I play with children." So again, piano in 3rd grade. You don't want me in Center for Music, even though it's open to all abilities. That is not my forte. But working with people is. So early childhood is educational programs for academic or year-round programming, ages 3 to 6. All right, we do half day, we do full day, we have camp. We have Arts for the Young, which we have partnered with Sing and Swing in Northeastern Ohio, which is music enrichment and music engagement for families from as young as 3 months to 6 years of age. We want to launch them to Center for Music, engage with music therapy, and launch these children and families into the world. This year we're excited because University Circle Campus, which is 30 years old, all right? It's part of the Pre-Frickley Innovation Facilities Grant, so things are going to be happening. We don't know what. They won't tell us till September, but we're very excited. Ohio City is lovely. We have our Century home and we have our new modern home, so we're looking to make a few updates with that. Early childhood is person first, individualized instruction, academic standards, but it is built with positive intent. It is built with a foundation for learning that all things are possible. We will help families and children to understand how their children learn and also to help them grow. So I can't say it enough. Early childhood is hiring, and come play with us. Okay. And now Ann Reed for music therapy.
I always love following Karen. She speaks so well and she's so enthusiastic. Hello everybody, I'm Ann Reed. I'm the clinical supervisor for the Center for Music Therapy, and I've been here a long time and I don't remember how long it's been. So I've been here twice, 15 years, and then I came back in 2014, and I'm glad I did. I just love being a music therapist here. And our goal in music therapy has been and will remain to creatively use music as a therapeutic tool for meeting the challenges and needs and promoting the well-being of those in our community. Unlike the Center for, I know I'm short, aren't I? Yeah, okay, I'm the tiny one. So unlike the Center for Music instruction, great programming, our focus in music is more on the function of music. How do we use the timbre, the rhythm? How do we use lyrics? How do we use a beat to help people achieve their personal goals, whether it's cognitive development, it's motor development. So that's how we take the music and we apply it in our center. And so it is very person-centered. Every individual comes in with a unique background, unique set of needs. We meet them where they're at and take them to where they want to go. And where we have a vision, we also share a vision with them as far as what we see as their potential, using music to do that. We work with all ages. I think currently our youngest is a little over 2.5, but we also work into the senior years. Like Matt said, birth to death. So we're the same. So our goal to reach out to individuals in the community, we do this in 2 ways. So it's our I shouldn't say inside, it's our on-site clinic that we have group music therapy and individual music therapy. And recently, past couple of years, we've expanded our individual private offerings to full year. So many of our clients now come from July through June. We have many agency partnerships in the community, even though right now we're on the smaller side of historically what we have been. Our staff now is a mighty number of 5, but we have Alana Durham. She has been here almost 2 years, so this is actually the beginning of her 2nd year. Our newest member, Rachel Plentovich, she came from Cleveland State. Alana came from Ohio University. Hannah, who we just picked up within a month or so, Hannah Bond, Hannah Bond is from, I can't remember, that's so bad. I'm a BW grad, but actually we represent many of the schools in the area. So, oh no, Dayton, she's from Dayton. So we have an Ohio representation of music therapists in our staff. And then of course there's Kara Metlika. She's our mighty administrative assistant and registrar. So part of our outreach programs consists of schools. We are in mental health. We work with senior adults. We're at the Euclid schools. We work in mental health at Front Steps. Hopewell Therapeutic Farm Community is one of our contracts, and we send a music therapist out to Middlefield to an actual farm. It's really beautiful out there in Amish country. We have the Hebrew Academy, which we just started last year. We have Salvation Army Harbor Light, St. Augustine's Manor, and Stella Maris, which is part of our Adams Board funded programming. So we're excited about that because we actually expanded our programming this year to include outpatient therapy. We're now a little bit bigger. In addition to that, we have been getting some grants from the Woodruff Foundation this year to expand our behavioral health service and hopefully get a little bit more programming to our Ohio City campus. And then we were also the first recipients of funding from the John Adams Foundation, and Nikki and I were down at the ball game receiving the humongous check just the other day. That was great fun. And if you know, Nikki's a great ball fan, so it was great fun. So regarding our center, we are hiring. We are looking for clinical music therapists and school-based music therapists, and we also still are looking for the right fit as far as our chair. And what we have launched this year is a search committee. And so some of these names you're going to know. Ronna Kaplan, former chair of the Center for Music. She's on our search committee. Dr. DeForia Lane, former director of expressive art therapies at University Hospitals. And she was an intern here, the Center for Music Therapy, in Jerry's years when Jerry was a music therapist. Dr. Lisa Gallagher, she's research program manager for the Cleveland Clinic Foundation. And if you know Ed Gallagher from Beck, who also knows Matt, they met here as music therapists and end up getting married, and it's one nice, happy story. So, and then the other one we have who's joining our search committee is Kara Kane. She's the assistant professor of music therapy. She's the director of the Cleveland Music Therapy Consortium at Baldwin Wallace, my alma mater, yay. So I'm very excited about the search committee. So we're going to be meeting in the next week or so because we have a candidate that we have been pursuing. So hopefully we'll keep striding and find us a perfect chair for our center. And I think for that, all I have to say, and so I am going to pass it off to Brian Kennard.
Thank you, Anne. All right. So I'm Brian Kennard. You already knew that, though. So just for those of you who are not familiar with the BOP STOP, going to give you a brief history. The original BOP STOP was established in the early 90s, and it had 2 locations before this building. It was privately owned, and the original owners had this building built in the early 2000s, and then donated it to the music settlement in 2013. And we opened up in 2014, October 2014, so we're coming up on our 9th anniversary, which I'll talk about a little bit later. We host close to 300 events a year here, concerts, private events, occasionally a workshop or 2. And so, yeah, we had it was around 300 events in 2013, or this past fiscal year. Those concerts and events, they feature world-renowned musicians, award-winning artists, local, national, international, such as Joe Lovano, Tana Alexa, Jonathan Kreisberg, Jamie Haddad, Jackie Warren, Sean Jones, Chris Coles, Theron Brown, many more. If you're familiar with the local jazz scene or jazz in general, you may have recognized a few of those names. We've also been hosting a monthly, or twice monthly, singer-songwriter night, the Brent Kirby 10x3, which has been, that was something that my predecessor, Gabe Pollock, started, and I've continued. Since I grew up in a folk music household, it's nice to have a way to give back to that community in town. We had a kitchen partner with Lutheran Metropolitan Ministries up until January, and they decided to move on to other things. And since then, for the last few months, we started a partnership with Edwin's, if you weren't familiar or weren't aware. So they've been providing kind of an Edwin's grab-and-go style menu where we're getting food prepared from their site, and we're plating it. So that's been an interesting new element to learn, and my staff and I have been figuring out all sorts of things about running a kitchen. And one more time, give it up for my some of my staff back there, Darren and Bridget. Darren just came on in April, and he's been especially incredibly useful to the venue, especially when I took a few weeks off for my baby. So Darren ran the show for about 3 weeks while I was gone. And Bridget's, of course, one of our new talents, along with Pam, who also helps out behind the bar. And if you haven't had a chance to try a drink made by one of them, you definitely should check it out. You should solve that problem tonight, or maybe next time you come out. But we just started a new cocktail menu that we unveiled this evening, so check it out. We've got some homemade syrups and enhancers for our bar that Bridget has put together. Some of our goals for this coming year include our big 9th anniversary that we're working with Katie and development to get some fundraising through. And we've got a really great lineup for that week in October as well. So be on the lookout. If you're not on our email list, you can sign up for our email list, and then you'll see what we got coming up. We're also, Darren and I have also been talking a lot about some improvements and upgrades to our Robert Conrad recording studio to make the recording studio more useful and more accessible. So for any of you in the Center for Music who are looking to record or have students who need to record, we can talk. We can probably do a TMS reduced rate here to get those recordings for you. We're also working on getting our draft system up again. That stopped when the pandemic happened, and we haven't brought it back, but we are close. So hopefully in the next month or so, we'll have our draft system up and running again. And Darren and I have been talking a lot about getting a nice rotating collection of artwork for our gallery display to really feature some local artists and connect with the visual art community here in Cleveland. So we're looking to expand what we do there and have something just another space for those artists to work with and for us to connect with them. And there's one more thing, of course, that's really exciting, and I'm going to unveil this right now. So we have been missing the branding of the BOP Stop in all of our live streams, or at least an easy view. This is actually something that I have to thank my mom for, because she did the research and found it and ordered it without me asking. So thank you to Linda Kennard. And when you come to the BOP Stop, make sure you get your picture in front of this. So now I will turn the microphone over to Rich Waskak.
So I'm in charge of buildings and grounds, and Sylvia and Kevin, who work for me, neither are here tonight, but Sylvia took over the early childhood, getting early childhood ready for the season while I was out on medical leave, and she should be commended. She really did a great job. And Kevin did a great job in Ohio City as well. Even being short one employee, we did manage to accomplish several things this year. One of them that we've been working on for a long time now is the Alertus system. And with the help of Ken Warner, we're finally getting it to a point where we can present it to you. The Alertus system is basically an emergency alert system that would alert you if there was active shooter or some other type of emergency, and it's in both campuses as well as the BOP Stop. And I think it's gonna really help us keep our facilities safe. Along with that, we are about to unfold our PA system as well for both Ohio City and University Circle that will work with our VOI phone systems. And for those of you who remember, we used to close University Circle building at night and there'd be an announcement, or somebody's car needed to be moved, we'll be able to do that. As well as we have outside speakers now that we can alert people outside in both campuses. Room B10, the percussion studio in Burke Basement, we reopened that after months of closure and replacement of exterior clogged drain tiles, cleaning and removal and replacement of drywall and carpeting. Every room in Burke is needed, so that was real critical. Especially after closing Greece, it's like we have to use every space we can in University Circle, so that's really been a help. Additionally, we repainted the BOP Stop internally. We replaced all the exterior fixtures or lighting to be LED, including the street lights that light up the parking lot outside. And last but not least, we redid the faculty lounge in University Circle, including carpeting, painting. We're just about done with it. And shortly it'll become the B. Scott and Pamela Esquick studio. So I hope to complete that soon. And with that, I will turn this over to Steve for some finance.
Hello. Those who don't know me, I'm Steve Krager, the VP of Finance. And I know many of you, but not everybody. And actually, a lot of you new people probably most associate me with whatever IT requirements you have, and computers and email and everything else that takes a little while to get done. But anyway, a finance guy without numbers is a scary thing. And I did see Ben, and probably Chris would have cringed too, for my finance committee members, seeing me up here thinking this is going to take a while. But I don't have any numbers. I promise you I don't. But anyway, I do want to say tonight that today, for the first time in a long time, we have a full finance staff. Finally. As you know, Claudine DeGennaro is our Director of Finance, and she's been with us for probably 3 or 4 years. And also Cynthia Safranek, who you most all deal with in payroll. She does all our payroll and payables, does a heck of a job with a lot of detail. And today was our first day. It was Raina Brown, who's our new staff accountant, which we've been looking for well over a year. So that rounds out our accounting team and finance team, and we're really excited about that. So none of them could be there. Unfortunately, they're watching on live stream, hopefully. But I do want to say that we're not hiring. So right now. But and as far as the IT goes, CRU Solutions is still our IT. They're our service provider for IT. They do all the heavy lifting for the network and things. I'm the primary conduit with them on things. But I can also say, too, that Ken Horner, as Rich mentioned, has done a lot of IT-related projects. He reports to Jerry, but she shares him with a lot of special projects that are IT-related. Alertus, some of the things related to what we're trying to move to in terms of improving our meeting technology for doing hybrid meetings, both Zoom and in person at the same time. We're exploring that, and Ken's kind of heading that up. So he's going to help a lot with some of the other IT issues as we go forward. Accomplishments for finance this year, by far and away the biggest challenge and the biggest accomplishment was the conversion of our accounting system to the new Blackbaud financial edge system. And that's been a long-term project. Anybody on finance knows that's stretched over a couple of years. Got started, end of COVID related stalled it, staffing shortages stalled it, but I'm happy to say that we went live with the new system, writing checks as of October of 2022, and we basically ran that system and the old ACS system in parallel all the rest of the year through June. And starting July 1st, we'll be going forward with a new system solely. So that's going to save a lot of time, and now with some more manpower, we can effectively use that system a lot better. A couple of the other things that we did accomplish was a balanced budget for fiscal 24, which the center chairs and department heads, they do all the heavy lifting. They put together the budget, but finance in the end ends up having to put all the pieces of the puzzle together and try to make sure that it's balanced and that we have some stretch revenue goals and that we contain the expenses enough to kind of match up with it. So when I say balanced, it's basically expenses and revenues are equal. So, and that's a challenge every year for us. It's difficult, and nobody has a crystal ball about what those revenues are going to be. But it was a good job by everybody, and we got it passed by the board in June, so we're on our way for that. Another thing that we did do was we started it the year before, but basically we collected all the final funds from the Employee Retention Credit Program. We got our last payments actually the last month. So that has allowed us to build up some cash reserves to help supplement operations and provide capital dollars for capital improvements. And a lot of the things that Rich has been able to do over the last couple of years has come from all this government funding that we've been enjoying after COVID. It's really helped us. It helped us get through COVID. It's also helped us build up some reserves for going forward and to make some improvements that you've seen. Just the parking lot a couple of years ago was a huge improvement at University Circle. So that's another thing. We put in a new credit card system with PNC, which most of you wouldn't appreciate, but the senior staff certainly appreciate it because it replaced an old KeyBank credit card system that was terrible. It was really difficult to manage, and so Cynthia and Claudine take all the credit for that. They did a great job. They've rolled it out, and that's in place now. And last but not least, we replaced our old server in University Circle. That thing was so old. It was old. It was old. Yeah, the operating software was about to be sunsetted.
Yeah.
So we did replace that. CRU put it all new, and we're running on that totally. Just to share with you a little bit, this is a busy time for finance because we're closing the books, getting ready for the audit, doing all those things. So it's a really busy time in the summer for us. But I just wanted to share with you briefly a little bit of what the operations were like for last year. Earned revenue was much better. We increased earned revenue across a lot of the centers. It still was a little bit, just slightly under budget, but fortunately, Advancement pulled together a lot of funds this year, and partly government funding, but partly a lot of grants and foundation grants to support it. So that was actually over budget and offset where we were a little bit under in earned revenue. And expenses probably were a little bit over budget, but it was a lot of open staff positions during the year that kind of gave us some savings, but then we also had to spend on professional fees and contractors to round that out. So all in all, that was good. Basically our cash reserves are in good shape because of that government funding. We have 0 borrowed on our line of credit, which that's been at least 3 years now we haven't had to borrow. And I can honestly say, and Jerry knows, she came a little bit after me, but when I came, we were tapped out on our line of credit. We had all kinds of debt, and we have very minimal debt now, no line of credit balance. And this is easily the best financially we've been off in the 7 years I've been here. So. But we also know how quickly that can disappear too. It doesn't take too much in the nonprofit world to eat that up. So, but I thank everybody for managing expenses and working within that. Our goals for next year are again, we have to manage expenses so we can keep as much of these reserves as we can, and we've got to work on adding enrollment, earned revenue. When I say earned revenue, that's basically what the centers bring in for all the programs. We've got to try to maximize that. Right now, this year we probably ran about 62, 63% of our total revenue is earned revenue. Our target's 70%. The budget next year is about 66. So we're trying to work that up so that we're less dependent on what Advancement has to do, bringing in money every year, and trying to put it more into our programs, which we can grow and we can control those. So that's a big thing. The other big thing is the reason we picked Blackbaud as our accounting system was so that we can integrate it with Razor's Edge, which is a sister program that Advancement uses, so that we can basically push all the entries they make right into the general ledger. Right now we have to repeat. You can imagine the detail of all the donations that we receive, which is extensive. We have to repeat all those manually into our accounting system. When we integrate that and finish it, we'll be able to push those right through and it'll save a lot of time. So that's another big goal for next year. And we have to, like I said, we have to keep managing expenses and working towards that. So that's it for finance. And with that, I'd like to bring Katie Milsinovic and Sydney Miller up for what's going on in Advancement and marketing.
All right, so hello everyone. I'm Katie Milsinovic. I'm the Vice President of Advancement. There's actually a lot of new faces in Advancement, so I'm just going to go through the whole team. One face that's not new is Kathy Koenig, who's our wonderful Chief of Staff, you all know, but she also moonlights as, yes, the Development Associate and does a lot of gift processing and data entry for us, which is phenomenal. But actually, we're going to be peeling that off, and our newest development staffer is here tonight, Kelly Manelli, who hasn't even started yet, is here, and she's going to be our donor and database manager starting September 19th. By the way, Advancement, if you didn't know, means development and marketing under the same roof. So I'm actually predominantly on the development side, and Sydney is wholly on the marketing side. But if you hear the term Advancement, it actually means development and marketing. I did not know that until I got this job. So also in our department is Sydney Miller, a lot of you know, Director of Marketing, coming up on, has just passed her 1-year anniversary. And then Marisa Pensky is here tonight, our Grants Manager, just started a month ago. But that rounds out our team. And so we are also not hiring. Is that correct? Yeah, we're not hiring either. Yay. So let me just give a quick development overview of what happened this past year and what we're looking forward to this coming year, and then I'll turn it over to Sydney to give a little marketing update. So this past fiscal year, as has been alluded to by Steve and others, we had government, a high percentage of government revenue because of all the COVID relief funding. That we know is going away and will not be a factor in FY24. So looking to make up for that, But otherwise, all the other categories were pretty steady compared to the previous year. And the goals that were set, the budget goals that were set for FY23 were exceeded. So that was exciting. I can't really take credit for that, but because as many of you might know, fundraising is often very forward-looking. So the grants that we're securing now are often for far into the future, and same for multi-year gifts and so on. But looking ahead to this fiscal year, we're definitely going to focus on 3 areas in particular in addition to the capital campaign, which Jerry talked about. So in addition to that, on the annual fund side, individual support and really looking for major giving and transformative individual support that Jerry and I are spearheading, as well as increasing our foundation support with the support of Marisa, and really targeting, in addition to general operating support, something that we haven't had as much focus on, but looking for opportunities where it makes sense to go for project-specific support. So I have to thank the center chairs for working with us on that. They're excited, we're excited. It's going to be exciting. And then corporate support, finally, as Brian alluded to, taking advantage of the anniversary of the BOP STOP every year to generate an opportunity for corporate folks to support and have a way to connect with the music settlement that we all know and love. And gearing up for next year, which, if you can do the math, is the 10th anniversary, and hoping to make a big splash with that. So it's going well so far, and we'll keep you all posted. And I'm going to turn it over to Sydney.
Thank you, Katie. Yes, I am Sydney, and my role here is to really give a voice and promote and give a voice and bring awareness to the amazing work that you guys do day in and day out, and just fulfilling our mission. So as you have heard here tonight, we have 3 unique centers and identities as well as BOP STOP to promote externally. So that gives me a really unique opportunity, I would say, to really give a voice and showcase what we do. Overarching, our marketing goals are to bring awareness to our centers, BOP STOP, and all of the programs that we offer, and work with the centers to promote enrollment in these programs. And we do this with consistent branding on various marketing channels: print, email marketing, social media marketing, and paid search and display. We work with Form, which is a local advertising agency, and they help us with our paid support. And one encouraging thing that I would ask everyone here to do is really just to connect with us on social media. One way that we can continue to spread the word about what we do and to really encourage, people to come to the music settlement is by word of mouth. So connect with us on social. We are active on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and continue to just repost and share, what our mission is, and bring more people to the music settlement to really see, what we have to offer. So with that, I will open it up to Q&A. So for questions, we can pass this around, or just anything that you heard tonight. If you have questions, you can come up.